Welcome to all, myself Amol Palve on my YouTube channel New Vision Physics Academy. Today I am coming with a new video on motion in straight line or one dimensional motion related to NEET, JEE Main and MST CET Physics. Those students who want to prepare for NEET and JEE Mains, please watch this video, watch this full video up to end, because some important points we revised in this video related to motion in straight line, that is linear motion or one dimensional motion. So let's start the video, but before that I again remind you that for those students who visit my channel for first time, please subscribe and subscribe this channel and press bell icon to get notification of the new videos. So students, let's start the revision notes for motion in straight line or one dimensional motion, which is important for JEE Mains, NEET and MST CET entrance exam. First, displacement. What is meant by displacement? Actual displacement is the change in position of a particle from one point to another. But in example, we use it as the displacement of the object between T1 and T2. That T1 and T2 is the two different position vector, two different times in which the position vectors of the object at two instances. And the formula for displacement is x bar is equal to delta x bar is equal to x2 bar minus x1 bar. So here x2 bar is the position of object at T1, x2 bar is the position of object at T2 and x1 bar is the position of object at T1. So when initially the object is at x1 and after some time that object is at x2, then there is a change in position, position is there, so the displacement becomes x2 bar minus x1 bar, where x2 bar minus x1 bar are the position vectors of the object or particle. Next one is path length. So this is the displacement which is depend upon the direction, whether where is starting and where is ending point. Next is path length. Path length is like a distance, that is the actual distance traveled by the object during time, it's called path length. So it is actual distance, how much distance that object traveled in a particular time, that distance is called path length. So distance, that path length or distance is a scalar quantity and this displacement is vector quantity. So due to this we express it as a x bar. Next is speed. As path length is scalar, speed is also scalar, and the speed is defined as the distance covered by the body per second in any direction. In any particular direction, whatever the distance covered by the body per second, per unit time, how much distance that body covered, and that is called the speed. Speed is a scalar quantity and the formula for speed is distance upon time is equal to x upon t. So if we have to derive the speed, then distance upon time is used for the speed, that is x upon time, and this is a scalar quantity. Then average speed. What is average speed? Average speed from speed we can calculate the average speed. Now average speed is what? The ratio of the total distance covered and the total time taken is called average speed. Now during a motion, what is the total distance covered by the object and what is the total time? So the ratio of total distance covered upon total time taken is called average speed, and the formula for average speed is equal to total distance upon total time, that is equal to delta x upon delta t. This is the speed only in a one condition, but this is the total distance, how much distance that particle is covered and how many times the speed is changed. So total distance and total time, if we can take the ratio of these two, then we can calculate the average speed. Now, if the time interval is very small, then that speed is instantaneous speed. If the time interval is very small, means the distance is covered in a short time, then that speed is called instantaneous speed. So, the speed of body at a particular instant of time or at a particular point and is measured as the limiting value of the average speed when the time over which the average is calculated approaches 0. So, the time approaches 0, if the time is very small or approaching 0, then that speed is called instantaneous speed, and this is the speed of object at any instant. For a particular instant, if we have to calculate the speed, then we have to consider instantaneous speed, and the formula for instantaneous speed is v is equal to limit of delta t tends to 0. This means that the time is very small, approaches to 0. So, we can take limit of delta t tends to 0, delta x upon delta t is equal to dx by dt. So, this is the formula for instantaneous speed. Next, some conditions related to speed are there. If a body covers half the distance with speed v1 and other half distance with speed v2, then the average speed of the body is given by. One condition is given here. If between total distance, half distance is covered by the body with speed v1 and half distance is covered with v2, then if we have to calculate the average speed, then the formula becomes v average is equal to 2 v1 v2 upon v1 plus v2, where v1 is the speed for half distance and v2 is the speed for half distance. Then in this situation, average speed is calculated by using 2 v1 v2 upon v1 plus v2. Similarly, next condition is if a body moves for half the time with speed v1 and for another half time with speed v2, then the average speed of the body is given by. Here distance is divided into two equal half. Now here total time is divided into two parts. So half time the body moves with speed v1 and half time the body moves with speed v2. Then average speed of the body is, and the formula for average speed is v1 plus v2 upon 2. So consider the difference in these two conditions. Here the distance is divided into two equal parts, and now in second condition the time is divided into two equal parts. First time half time the speed is v1 and in another half time the speed is v2. So v average is equal to v1 plus v2 upon 2. Now next condition is if a body covers first 1/3 distance with speed v1, second 1/3 distance with speed v2 and the last 1/3 distance with speed v3, then the average speed is v average is equal to 3 v1 v2 v3 upon v1 v2 plus v3 v2 plus v3 v1. So this is the formula. If the distance if the speed is divided into three parts, first distance is divided into three parts. First 1/3 distance is with speed v1, second 1/3 is v2 with speed v2 and last 1/3 is with speed v3, then the average speed is 3 v1 v2 v3 upon v1 v2 plus v3 v2 plus v3 v1. Now next, this is about the speed, and speed we know speed is scalar quantity. Now next one is velocity. Velocity is what? The rate of change of displacement with respect to time is called velocity. Before speed is learned, speed is distance upon time, but velocity is what? Displacement upon time. Here displacement is vector quantity, so the velocity is also vector quantity, and the formula for velocity is displacement upon time, that is x bar upon t, that is delta x bar upon delta t. So this is the formula for velocity. Now instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity is the velocity for an instant, means the time is very small. It is defined as the limiting value of the average velocity of the object over a small time interval delta t around t when the value of the time interval delta t goes to 0. That is v bar is equal to limit of t tends to 0 or delta t tends to 0, delta x bar upon delta t, that is equal to dx bar by dt. So when the time interval is small, then we derive the velocity for a small instant, and that is called instantaneous velocity. Uniform velocity is another concept is there. So uniform is equal. So uniform velocity, if a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time in a straight line, then its velocity is called uniform velocity. Means uniform velocity, a body covers equal distance in equal interval of time. Now average velocity is what? Average velocity, this is defined as the displacement of the object during the time interval over which average velocity is being calculated, divided by the time interval. So average velocity, simple formula is what? Average velocity upon average time, that is V average is equal to x2 bar minus x1 bar upon t2 minus t1. That is the displacement of object during the time interval over which average velocity is being calculated, divided by the time interval. So average velocity, formula for average velocity is V bar average is equal to x2 bar minus x1 bar upon t2 minus t1. Now if a body comes back to the same point from where it starts, average velocity is 0. In a motion, during the motion, if the body comes back to its initial point, during motion if body returns to its initial position, then the average velocity becomes 0. Like in a circular motion, the body returns to its original point. So body, if during motion body return to its original position or initial point, then average velocity becomes 0. Now next one, this after velocity, acceleration is there, and acceleration is defined as the rate of change of velocity with respect to time is called acceleration. It is again a vector quantity, and acceleration is velocity upon time. Average acceleration is what? The average acceleration of an object having velocities v1 and v2 at time t1 and t2 is average acceleration is v2 bar minus v1 bar upon t2 minus t1. Similarly, if we see the formula for velocity, average velocity, similar formula is for average acceleration. If in the change is in velocity, displacement is there, in acceleration velocity is there. So average velocity is average acceleration is equal to v2 bar minus v1 bar upon t2 minus t1. Instantaneous acceleration means acceleration for our instant is instantaneous acceleration is the limiting value of average acceleration when the interval goes to 0. So limited interval is there, interval, time interval approaches to 0, goes to 0, small instant, and the formula I bar is equal to limit of t tends to 0, delta v bar upon delta t is equal to dv bar upon dt. Now next topic is graph. Before that, displacement, velocity, acceleration we already discussed about it. Now let's talk about the graph of the displacement with respect to time. What that graph indicates? Graph we can study the motion of an object with the help of graph. Time and displacement graph is plotted by taking time along x axis and displacement along y axis. So here we discuss about only displacement and time graph. So from this you can study about the velocity and time and acceleration and time graph. So let's take some condition. If the graph is straight line parallel to x axis, then the body is at rest. Means here, if the graph is straight line, parallel to x axis, see here the graph is straight line parallel to x axis, then what it shows? It gives that body is at rest. Means here time is increased but the position of body does not change. So here the graph is straight line parallel to x axis, it means that the body is at rest. Now second, if the graph is straight line making an angle theta with time axis, it means that the body is moving with uniform velocity which is calculated from its slope. So what is this condition? Here graph is straight line but making an angle theta with time axis. Here also the graph straight line in first condition. Here also the graph is straight line but here it is parallel to time axis. Here that graph makes an angle theta with time axis. Then in this situation that both quantities whose graph is straight line, these two quantities are directly proportional to each other. Means time and displacement, these two are proportional to each other, and hence this is the graph showing that the velocity of this object is constant. So velocity, how we can calculate the velocity? The velocity is the slope of this graph, and the slope is equal to x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1. So these 2 points are there. The x coordinate of this point is x2 and t is t2, this is t1 x1, and if we calculate x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1, that is the slope, and here according to this the slope means what? Velocity. And if the graph is straight line making an angle theta with time axis, then the slope is also constant for this. And or if we calculate this theta, tan theta, then it is also the slope x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1, that is v, that is delta x upon delta t, rate of change of displacement with respect to time. Now the third one, if the graph is straight line with intercept on y axis as x0, then x is equal to x0 plus xt. Then see here, if initially for some time, for some distance, here the graph is a straight line with intercept on y axis at x0. If we saw here the position, the time is increased but the graph is start from x0, so initial position of object is x0, then after that the body is moving with velocity v. So for in this situation, the condition for this, the equation for this is x is equal to x0 plus vt, where v is velocity, t is time, and x is displacement of the graph. So this x0 is the initial displacement at time when time is 0. Already that body is displaced through distance x0, so this is the condition here. So x0 plus vt. Now next graph, a graph with straight line parallel to y axis represents infinite velocity because tan theta is equal to tan 90, that is equal to infinity. Here the graph is how the graph is straight line parallel to y axis, means we have to draw straight line parallel to y axis. This is the y axis. In this situation the velocity is infinite, because if we calculate the slope, that is velocity, then it becomes infinity, because tan theta, theta is what? 90 degree. A graph with theta is greater than 90 degree or obtuse gives negative velocity. The body returns to original position. If the graph is with negative, obtuse angle is there, theta is greater than 90 degree, then the slope is negative is there, means the body returns to its original position. So when the body returns to its original position, then the graph is shown like this. So hope you understand the different graphs which are given here. So these are the 4 various condition, and the next 5th condition is here, that is the negative with negative velocity. Here one thing is important, that the body returns to its original position. Now some important points to be remembered from this 5 conditions of the graph. First point, if it is possible to draw a graph between velocity and time, if we possible to draw a graph between velocity and time, then slope of this graph gives acceleration. Similarly, if we here we plot the graph of displacement and time, then slope is velocity. Similarly, the graph of velocity and time, the slope is acceleration. The slope of displacement time graph is velocity. So the slope of displacement time graph is velocity, and the area enclosed by the velocity time graph gives the distance covered. Here the area, here this area enclosed by velocity time graph is what? Distance. So similarly, velocity time graph, the area covered by acceleration time graph is velocity, and the area covered by velocity time graph is distance. Now next topic is kinematical equation. So where we use kinematical equation? Kinematical equations are used when some quantities are provided to you in the given example. That is, suppose here u is the initial velocity, v is the final velocity, t is the time required, s is displacement, and a is acceleration. If all these quantities are given, then we use kinematical equation. So what are the kinematical equations? The first kinematical equation is v is equal to u plus at. Here a is the acceleration denoted by small a. Here capital A is here, but it is denoted by small a. Small a is also acceleration. So v final velocity is equal to initial velocity plus acceleration into time. So this is the first kinematical equation. Second kinematical equation is this: s is displacement is equal to initial velocity plus final velocity upon 2 into time. Third kinematical equation is s is equal to ut plus half at square. S is displacement, u initial velocity, t time, a acceleration, and t again time. And next kinematical equation is v square is equal to u square plus 2ah. In this example, final velocity, initial velocity, acceleration and displacements are there. Next, if we have to calculate the distance covered by the particle in nth second, if we have to calculate the distance after n second, then the formula is Sn is equal to u plus a upon 2 2n minus 1, or u is equal to Sn is equal to u plus a in bracket n minus 1 by 2. Here Sn means the displacement after nth second from starting. Now next, if the particle start its motion from rest, when the particle start its motion from rest, then it is clear that initially the particle is at rest, that is the initial velocity u is 0, a is positive. When the speed of the body is going on increasing, we have to take, if the speed of body is increased, then a is positive, and if the speed of body is decreasing, then a is negative. Next condition is motion under gravity. Motion under gravity means acceleration due to gravity. If the body moves under the effect of acceleration due to gravity g, then what happens? There are two situations there. If the body falls or moves downward, under gravity, if the body moves downward, then first kinematical equation is v is equal to u plus gt. Here a is equal to g if body moves downward. Second kinematical equation is h is equal to ut plus 1 upon 2 gt square. This is same with the kinematical equation, but in linear motion this is when body falls, so displacement is in terms of height, so h is equal to ut plus half gt square. Third kinematical equation is v square minus u square is equal to 2gh. Here again s is replaced with h and a is replaced by g. Fourth kinematical equation, that is the displacement Sn after nth second, that is hn here. If the displacement is in terms of height, then hn u plus g by 2 to n minus 1, or u plus g n minus 1 by 2. Here s or h is used. H for height, here s is displacement, and when body falls down, the displacement is in terms of height, so s is replaced by h here. In second condition, if the body moves upward, then these four kinematical equations are changed. Means if the body moves upward, then a is equal to minus g. Then first equation becomes v is equal to u minus gt, because a plus g, instead of plus g we have to use minus g. In second equation again h is equal to ut minus 1 upon 2 g half 1 upon 2 gt square. In third, v square minus u square is equal to what? Minus twice gs, because g is negative. And Sn or Hn is equal to u minus g by 2 to n minus 1, or u minus g n minus 1 by 2. So for a body thrown upwards, a is equal to minus g, and for a body coming downward, a is equal to plus g. So from these two conditions, we have to remember these 2 points. If body thrown upward, then a is equal to minus acceleration due to gravity, and for a body coming downward, a is equal to g. Now if the body thrown upwards, at highest point the body come to rest, means when body thrown upwards, when the body reaches to highest point, that body come to rest, means the final velocity becomes 0. Then in equation 1, upward v is equal to u minus gt, this final velocity v is equal to 0, then 0 is equal to u minus gt, that is t is equal to u minus g, and this t is called the time of ascent. Means for time required to reach the body at highest point, that is called time of ascent, and the body comes down, then for the time required to come the body to its original position, that is called time of descent. So time of ascent is equal to time of descent. So the time of ascent and time of descent both are equal. Then if the body thrown upwards, then time taken by the body to reach starting point is capital T is equal to 2u upon g, means the time of ascent means body the time required to move the body upwards, and then from upwards the time required to move the body downwards. The time both times are equal, so the equal time is T is equal to 2u minus g. Now next topic is relative velocity. Relative velocity of a body A with respect to another body B is the rate at which body A changes its position with respect to body B. Relative velocity means what? It is if the body A moves with respect to body B, then relative velocity is the rate at which body A changes its position but with respect to body B, and it is given by relative velocity of A with respect to B is equal to VA plus VB, where VA is the velocity of body A and VB is the velocity of body B. Now let's take some conditions here. If the two bodies are moving with the velocity parallel to each other in the same direction, then relative velocity of both body with respect to each other is 0. If both body moving with same velocity parallel to each other and in same direction, then relative velocity is equal to 0. First condition. Second condition is if the bodies are moving parallel to each other with velocity v1, v2 in the same direction, now the velocity is different, then relative velocity of one with respect to other is v1 bar minus v2 bar, that is the difference in velocities. Same velocity, if the same velocity is there, then relative velocity is 0, and if velocity is different, then the difference in velocities is equal to relative velocity. Third one is next point is if the bodies are moving parallel to each other with velocity v1 bar and v2 bar but in opposite direction, then relative velocity of one with respect to other is v1 bar plus v2 bar, that is difference of velocities. So students, hope you understand this video. These are the some basic points related to motion in a straight line or one dimensional motions, which are required or essential to solve the examples on this chapter. So coming with next video, which is about which is the examples from this chapter, motion in straight line or one dimensional motions. Before that you have to study this. So study this video chapter carefully. Hope you understand the video. If you understand it, please subscribe the channel, and if any problem, comment me in the comment box. Thank you.